Are you feeling overwhelmed? What's up, Sigma males? This is Alex from Sigma Spirit, and this is another episode of Sigma Spirit Medicine, in which I tell you what to do when you feel a certain way. When you feel a certain way that a Sigma male feels, perhaps it's loneliness or anger. Today we're going to talk about overwhelm, and it's going to be a little different because I'm just going to help you shift perspective a little and think of it in a different way. So there's not going to be funky tips or meditation techniques. It's just one thing I want you to think about differently. So whether you're a Sigma male, an empath, a INFJ, an introvert, or just a regular human, we all face overwhelm. This is very common. Overwhelm is just another name for feeling very stressed when you have too many things going on. You feel like you're trapped by the amount of stuff you have to do. The pressure of various things is weighing too heavy on you. And different things can cause overwhelm. There's no shortage of things in today's world. You could watch the news and feel overwhelmed at the amount of things that are happening in the world. You could also feel overwhelmed just by going to school, too many projects, different things like that. You can feel overwhelmed by your relationships. Any reason for overwhelm is reason enough for you to look into it and figure out how to move through it. It can feel like many things. It can feel like insomnia. It can feel like a physical stress. It can feel like anxiety. You can manifest overwhelm in social anxiety. You can have heart palpitations or panic attacks, whatever it may be. But I just want to tell you that most of the cause for overwhelm is due to us not knowing ourselves, not knowing our blueprint. And I'm going to tell you two stories as to why I really dived into this idea of overwhelm and why some people can feel overwhelmed. What does overwhelm mean? And there were two instances in my life. One was a situation where many people felt overwhelmed and I didn't feel it. So in my hometown, there is an event. It used to be an official event. An event where import cars would come to the town and they would have a big convention. But a few years ago, the town said, don't come anymore. You guys cause too much chaos, too much property damage, too much wildness for our small town. And so in 2019, they said, screw it, we're still going to come. And thousands of people showed up to this town. And I spent the whole weekend walking around, observing, and I'm not going to lie, enjoying myself. And yet there were moments where I looked at myself objectively and thought, why don't I feel overwhelmed? This is so overwhelming, and yet I feel so at peace. There were moments when mobs of people would mob a car and start shaking it so much that the end of it would fishtail out. There were moments when literally 50 police would come walking down a street and tell everyone to leave, or they were going to start tasing people. I saw a guy get tasered right in front of me. I saw dogs barking at people, police dogs, like getting pretty close to attacking people. I saw a guy dressed as a banana, run over by a horse. And I just saw all sorts of crazy stuff, loud noises, loud music. And the whole time I felt very at peace. In fact, I felt very alive. And I felt very in my element to be in that situation. And people ask me, don't you feel overwhelmed in that situation? And I didn't really understand why that was profound to think of it like that until recently, when I was thinking about sometimes what overwhelms me is not what overwhelms other people. For example, maybe after a long day of work, you have a date scheduled with a girl or a friend, and you've spent the whole day working, your willpower is fatigued, and something changes in the date, and you have to make a last-minute decision. You have to use your leadership ability. Maybe now you have to pick the restaurant. And those situations for people can sometimes feel so overwhelming. For me personally, I get that. I feel that. So why does one thing overwhelm and another thing doesn't overwhelm? Well, it's because we're all different people and different things do different things to us. So my big solution for this, You're thinking, what's the solution? I have things in my life, they overwhelm me, but other things don't overwhelm me. What's the solution? What's the magic pill? There's only one magic pill, and that is you need to know what overwhelms you. Do you even know what overwhelms you? Maybe you think it's one thing, but it's another. Maybe you think you have social anxiety, but you actually don't. Maybe you just get anxious around this certain friend, and that's the friend who you go out with. So I want to ask you to look at what makes you overwhelmed and really determine in a very clear way what exactly is overwhelming you as a Sigma male, an empath, whatever. Some examples might be crowds, aggression, or it could be things like making decisions, or there's certain toxic people, or maybe when you get too many customers, or you have too many projects going on at the same time. But if you know what overwhelms you, then you can start to move in that direction of eliminating them, making plans and how to mitigate those, making solutions, how to avoid those situations that overwhelm you. So that's my advice for getting through that overwhelm phase. Be very pragmatic. Look at your life and understand there are things that make you overwhelmed, but there are also things that lead to that overwhelm, and there are warning signs to that overwhelm. And once you start paying attention to those warning signs, you can build systems so you never feel overwhelmed. So I'll see you on the next episode of Sigma Spirit Medicine, and we'll talk more about what to do when you feel whatever the next symptom. If you like this video, let me know what you want to talk about. What do you want to know? What do you want to learn how to deal with? What sort of symptom of being a Sigma male do you want to know how to move through? Thanks for watching.